I am not a mechanic. I'm not even a car guy. I am an architect, and after losing $15,000 to a repair shop, I decided to rebuild this 50-year-old Corolla myself with the hope that one day this vintage car could be my daily driver. And I had absolutely no idea what I was doing. But this story didn't start with the Corolla. It started years earlier with one impractical idea that completely changed the way I wanted to live. How can I live more intentionally and be the most genuine version of myself? I'm a romantic. My mind's always been a bit up in the clouds, and since I was a kid, I've always been obsessed with old things, unique things, things with character. Things that when you touch them, you almost have a nostalgia for a life that you'd never had. If I wasn't an architect, I'd probably own an auction house and never sell anything. And when I came back from architecture school overseas, I needed a daily driver, but I didn't want to go back to something anonymous like this. I wanted a way to make my driving intentional, to be true to my character, to romanticize what would have been a fairly default action. So naturally, I bought a 1976 Toyota pickup. I was actually looking for a Datsun, but by luck, I found this old Toyota that had lived on an apple farm for its whole life. That's the actual truck in the photo. My vintage daily driver. Many people said it wouldn't work. Yes, it was impractical, but surprisingly reliable and completely wonderful. I drove it every day for a year, learned a little about cars, got a lot of miles per gallon, and honestly, really enjoyed my life. And then, after a few too many glasses of wine, I found this Corolla on Marketplace and had what I can only assume every male thinks at least once in his life. Why not two? And then I ended up selling the pickup. I probably shouldn't have. It was a really great truck. The Corolla was cool, a kind of Japanese muscle car, but underneath, it was rough. It hadn't run in 30 years, the underside was rusty, everything was dry rotted, and the previous owner had the engine set up to be a drag car. It needed serious work. So I did what any sensible person would do. I sent it to a shop. And what started with a simple $4,000 rocker rust repair became, no, actually we meant $4,000 per side. Then 8 months. Then $15,000. Then we're holding your car hostage. And by the end of it, I was so burned that I made the decision right then and there that I would do the restoration myself. But the truth is, I didn't make the decision out of spite or revenge or even to save money. I've always imagined getting old and having multiple cars, but if I was going to do that, I needed to know how cars actually worked. Can't be bringing it to a shop every time, you know? On top of that, I've never been naturally hands-on. I've always been ideas first, a creator of worlds type, too much of a dreamer. But as Supertramp says, and this car became the way I could test my limits and become more hands-on. Just kidding. It was for revenge. I'll make them pay for what they did. I'll get my money back. I'll burn their homes to the ground. I'll raise an army of Corollas. I'll drink their blood. Anyways, so I took the car apart. And over the next few years, piece by piece, I started learning. Starting right from the beginning. Taking the car apart, organizing all the parts, making a game plan, making a jig to put the car on its side, sandblasting the undercarriage, cutting out all the rusted metal. Aha! Learning to weld, learning to paint, taking apart all the individual components, redoing the ball joints, bearings, bushings, powder coating, making brake lines, you name it, I touched every part of that car, and you can see all the evidence for yourself here on YouTube. And luckily I was filming everything because I got a bunch of great insight from people in the comments section. If something was missed, I had a lot of people making sure that it was corrected. I really couldn't have done it without you guys. But what I had been doing in all fairness was the easy part. The hard part was going to be making this thing run the way I wanted to. Smooth, reliable, daily. Remember, this engine hasn't run properly in a long time, and it's not tuned for daily driving, so it was going to need a serious overhaul. I told you I wasn't a mechanic, and I told you I did want to do it myself, but becoming capable doesn't mean you're too proud to admit your limits. This car ran like shit. The power band was all lower end torque, and the second you hit your big toe on the gas pedal, it wanted to launch in the air, Toretto style. Remember, we're thinking cruiser, daily. Impractical, but very, very practical. So I had got a recommendation for a professional shop from a friend who recently had his Miata rebuilt, and he assured me that these were good guys. I wouldn't get scammed again. The guy that worked on the engine looked like Han from Tokyo Drift. When he opened up the engine bay, he stood there in silence, took a drag of his cigarette, and only said, "This is gonna be a lot of work." To bring this engine into the modern world, we need a few things. Upgrade all the wiring, who knows where the bottlenecks were and where this thing was shorting out. A modern ECU for tuning and customization. We chose the Mega Squirt 3. This engine was batch firing, 2 cylinders at a time. We needed it to run on 4 independent cylinders, which required a custom distributor that he filed down one of the teeth off of. Don't ask me how it works. We put in upgraded ignition coils, the last ones were dying out, updated fuses and relays, tucked in beside the new ECU. Funny enough, we kept the big cams. They were a big problem, but he assured me it would be more fun and it would run smooth. Then all the miscellaneous items, relocating the battery, upgraded alternator, upgraded quiet fuel pump, fuel lines, filters, etc. But did all of this actually make the car run any better? After they put the car on the dyno, with a bit of time, they actually increased the horsepower from 125 to 145 horsepower. This ain't your grandpa's grandpa car anymore. We didn't upgrade anything, not really. We just made it run smoother. It wasn't using its full potential, and all of these components working together in harmony unlocked that. These guys did really fantastic work, and they didn't ask to be mentioned, but if you need your car to be worked on, go to Racing Greed here in the Lower Mainland. Now, the car's back in my possession, and I was either about to discover if all this had been worth it, or discover, very suddenly, that I shouldn't have been trusted to put together a braking system. So there's only one thing left to do. Drive it.
I need to pick that song.
I've been driving this car almost every day for about a month now, taking it on longer and longer trips, and I have to say, it's exactly what I wanted. I'm not a car guy, so in the end, this wasn't just about restoring an old JDM. For me, it's about being in opposition to the idea that life has to be lived in the default way, and that I can build something intentional instead. I feel like the truest version of myself when I'm driving this car. Hopefully, that mindset will trickle down into every other part of my life. And maybe that's what a car guy is. Maybe I am a car guy.